This is the ESP8266 Node MCU. It has plenty of features such as inbuilt Wi-Fi, and in terms of processing power, it's basically an Arduino on steroids. However, coding a website for it is a bit troublesome, so I will show you an easy way to control the project using your phone only. For this, we will be using RemoteXY. Without further delay, let's get started. To begin, open the RemoteXY web page and click on Start Now button, and you will be greeted with a UI that looks something like this. Now, first of all, before we do anything else, let's just quickly change the orientation to landscape. First, on the left hand side, you can see the bunch of symbols and stuff. You can use these for various different inputs and outputs. Feel free to play around with these. Now, on the right hand side, we actually get to see all the functional stuff. First, we have to configure the phone to landscape mode. So let's quickly do that. Follow along if you wish to, and keep it as portrait if you want. I will also delete the portrait mode. Now, let's configure the RemoteXY app to work with the ESP8266. Click on the board and select the ESP8266. It's right there. Since it has inbuilt Wi-Fi, we won't need to use any external modules. However, for some other boards, there are other options available. The IDE we will be using is the Arduino IDE itself, so there's no problem with that. We are all familiar with it, of course. But if you want, there are also these other modules available that are being shown here. So if you're using something like an Arduino Nano or something, you can use these. But for now, we will be using integrated Wi-Fi. And as I said, the Arduino IDE is what we will be using for now. For this particular case, I'll just be using a couple of joysticks because it's like the most versatile layout there is. Of course, for some other features, you can also use the other inputs given, but in my case, I'll just be using two joysticks. Once you have made the layout you want, using all these different inputs and stuff, click on the get code, and here you can either copy paste the code or download the zip file directly. Now, let me show you the code. This is the code. So first we have to include the RemoteXY library. You can download it using the library manager. And this is the memory configuration that tells the phone how the joysticks are supposed to be. And this is basically the struct that contains the variables. Down below I have declared the different pins, and that's basically all, the basic code. You can of course configure it just by your liking. I've also done some other stuff like made the pin, like declaring the pin modes. It is also one of the basics there is. Now let's see. Then we have to. I have also done the mapping of the labels because the joysticks they have 0 to 112, and this is the. And by the way, the pins on the ES8266 we have to use the pins given in pink color on the IDE. Don't use the pin numbers given on the board; they may not work. Use the ones shown in pink, and this is the practical demo. You can see the LED over there. I'm using a power supply for power. The wiring is as simple as it gets. I will be using this phone for the RemoteXY app, and I've already installed it on this. This is the RemoteXY app. This is how it looks. The app logo, I mean. So normally, if you are trying it for the first time, you will have to pair a new device. But since I've already used this particular one before the video was recorded, I can directly connect it. So this is the option to directly connect it. But if you are connecting it for the first time, you can use the features. Now when you first open it, it will blink green. In my case, it blinks green because I used one of the boot pins. So keep that in mind if you're using one of the boot pins, but otherwise it should not really be an issue. And the default values will be 50, so the LED will glow a bit whitish. And when I move the joysticks, the color will change. The color is a bit saturated, but you should still see the changes in color. So that's it for today, guys. Make sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.